Broadcasting Studio 24 in California, the entertainment capital of the world, featuring Dr. Dwight Rogers and Tony G. It's the Education Talk Show with Jeremy Brooks, Weekly Recess. And now, your host, Jeremy Brooks.
Welcome to the Education Talk Show with Jeremy Brooks. Weekly Recess. We are in Studio 24 live, and we've got a great show packed full for you tonight. We've got national headline news. We've got a lot of other great stuff. We're going to talk about school culture. But, of course, we have our senior education contributors. We've got the brilliant Dr. Kofi Rogers, Dwight Rogers, in the studio tonight. Welcome to the show.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving holiday. We missed you. I missed you, and it's good to be back. And so stay tuned, buckle up. It's going to be a good show.
Awesome. We got the always hilarious Tony G.
What's up, guys? It's good to be back. I've missed you guys. Man, we're going to have a heck of a time today. And I just got to tell you guys, jingle bells, jingle bells.
Nice. And of course, tonight's special guest, we have the one, the only, former superintendent, author of Recipes for Resilience, Dr. Rob. You also know him as Papa Rob, Dr. Rob Martinez. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jeremy. It's fantastic to be with you gentlemen here tonight. We're in the season of giving, the season of holiday, the season of spirit, and shining bright, and it's just great to be with you.
Yes.
Thank you. And I just want to comment, they look super sharp today.
We did call each other. You wear the blue? I'm not wearing the blue. You wear the gray?
Yeah, they got the nice lights. Me and Jeremy got the Mardi Gras beats.
We got the little ones.
But
I
you
know.
earned those beats. All right.
Air high, air five.
Yeah, there's light up. Did you know that?
Yeah. Mine do not.
You
At least
bring
it
the
makes
light,
it-
Tony.
No.
You bring the light.
You know what? There you go.
the
Now I
dragon
like where
energy.
you're talking.
The dragon energy, the light, the glow.
Confidence, I need it.
You have the glow.
holidays.
Shine bright.
Let's
Shine
go.
bright.
Like a diamond.
Well, again, thank you for joining us. We've got big questions. We've got national headline news to discuss with you tonight, of course, as well. Powerful stories. So we're going to go ahead and dig in. But before we dive into our first segment, I do want to acknowledge that there was a tragedy in one of our neighboring towns nearby this past weekend, a neighboring city, the same city where some of our educators that are part of our show are actually working as well. And so this really strikes close to home. And there was a birthday celebration that took place with children who were killed, and there was about 100 people at this celebration. There was 4 young people that were tragically lost their lives in this incident. And it's just an unimaginable tragedy. Families are grieving, and our community is grieving, and of course, our entire community is shaken, our neighboring communities as well. I think, it hits close to home, and I think that I speak for everyone when I say that our nation, I mean, even across our nation, not just the Central Valley here in California, but across the nation, our hearts and thoughts are with the families and the victims of this tragedy. And I wanted to talk to Dr. Rogers. While this didn't happen at school, right? When children in our region are taken from us, we all feel it, educators, parents, neighbors. It touches every classroom. It touches everyone, really. And so, Dr. Rogers, you serve in this, wonderful community every day. And, how, if you can talk about this, just how is it being felt? I imagine it's really difficult right now.
Right. Being a human being, you're going to feel the impact of this. But I can tell you that I've never been in a place where people have come together and galvanized and support one another to uplift and be there for one another. It hurts because you don't have the brain capacity to rationalize the loss of children. And the humanity in all of us, hurts. But at the same time, we realize that there's some space for healing. And that's where the community is coming together at this point right now, looking at and exploring ways in which we can heal together.
Thank you, Dr. Rogers, for that. And Dr. Martinez, before becoming a superintendent, you have experience as a school psychologist, and you spent many years as a school psychologist helping children and families through trauma. When something like this, happens, something devastating like this, especially to kids, how does the community even begin to cope with something like this?
Yeah, I think and it's so unfortunate. It happens too frequently, right? We lose a child. We lose a child to senseless gun violence. We lose children to other traumatic events. And it really throws communities off kilter, off balance. We really begin to start questioning the why and what happened and how can we fix this. And unfortunately, sometimes those answers are elusive to us. And so when we don't find the answers, we even get more frustrated. That frustration, that anger, that grief are all real feelings. And it is absolutely okay to have real feelings about this because, as Dr. Kofi said, you don't have a reason you can put like, oh, that's it, and let's solve that one thing. There's so many different layers. From a psychological perspective of working with groups of individuals who have had this type of trauma, it really is about providing a safe place first to experience those feelings. And again, depending on the level of trauma, sometimes it's needing to approach other children who are wondering, oh my gosh, could have been me, or even adults who were at that area. What can we do to help them? For our schools, we're part of the community. So even though this event did not happen at a school, it's felt in every school community. So it does become incumbent on us as the educators in the room to look to make sure our children feel safe, that we are connecting as a community, that we're providing resources to those who need them, because that's where the healing does begin. There's no answer that's going to wipe away grief. As we probably have all experienced, grief sometimes takes years and years and years, and sometimes even more years to get through. And so knowing that people are safe and supportive and around them will help the children who are in the original issue, the circumstance that it happened. But again, the other children who hear about this, because it creates fear, it creates frustration, it creates that anxiety. Sometimes they start thinking, well, should I leave my house? Can I go have a birthday party? I mean, those types of things. So being together, connecting with others, as I believe is what's happening at some of the communities here, which is the absolute right thing to do. Because then you start getting back into a normalcy of routine, a confidence that builds within being with other people, like I am safe, it's okay, because we want people to feel safe. We have to, of course, do other things to stop the proliferation of guns in the environment. That's my opinion. But again, we have to keep kids safe in many different ways.
And as you mentioned, too, so many good points, both of you, of course. There is a multitude of factors, right, that oftentimes we want to point to the one thing. How could we do this one thing? But it's a multi-layered situation oftentimes. What I really appreciate, too, that you mentioned is, we got to acknowledge that these things are happening in our communities, in our schools, even outside our schools. And we have to make space for children to be able to express themselves and to feel comfortable reaching out, saying, hey, I need help, because it does affect those children. And then providing those resources. If we don't even acknowledge that something like this happens, then how can we begin to have a conversation to start to prevent these types of situations, right?
Right, exactly, Jeremy. And, I'll also say that there's training that needs to occur for our mental health professionals. Because, again, our counselors, we have a lot of counselors, but they're not necessarily oftentimes trained in how to do some of this work. So we have to provide professional development for our counselors, for our school psychologists, for the mental health folks in our arenas. And we also need to not be afraid as the lead educators to maybe bring in some outside people if we need that support. There have been circumstances where, our own folks were so impacted by a trauma that I needed to reach out and call some professionals in to come and help those experts. So there's nothing shameful about needing some resources to help whoever needs the assistance.
Yeah, great points right there.
Right.
Yeah, and so again, this is such an important conversation. We're going to continue to have these conversations and try to address this. And it just so happens that we actually did film a special one-on-one exclusive episode with Andre LeMay, who was a former special agent for the Department of Justice, which is, I'm told, like the California's version of the FBI. And he worked for the Bureau of Firearms Division, and he worked in a lot of these areas. And this episode's going to come out later on in the month. And he also is the owner of Bullseye Canine, and he's an expert on school safety. So we'll have that come out later on as well. Thank you to both of you, of course. And the conversation, again, it matters, and we're going to continue. We're going to be committed to continuing to discuss this. Now, I also wanted to mention that we're going to move on and into tonight's show, and staying informed, I think, is really important. Connecting and staying engaged is part of also how our communities can stay strong, right? And so we'll go over some things. Before we do that, we'll catch up with the panel, and we took a recess of our own. We had a Thanksgiving break.
Yes, we did.
And so I wanted to just talk to everybody here on the panel about, just how did your Thanksgiving break go? A lot of fun things I was seeing on social media over the break, because we follow each other. If you don't follow these gentlemen, you got to follow them. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all that. But how, before we jump into the headlines, how was your breaks? And we'll start right over here.
My break was pretty good. I have a son in North Carolina, and so he's 30 years old, and he's adulting and doing his thing. And so he came in, and it's those generational curses that try to break. So, for example, this is some transparency. So my father, his side of the family, I didn't know them too well, and I wanted to break that. So part of that is having my son just be involved in my side of the family as much as possible. So watching him with my nieces, his cousins, and my brothers is like amazing. The energy in the room, it lights you up. It makes you feel good. Their laughter, just watching the antics. And when I see the love that they have embodies the love that I share with my brothers, it's like my mother did a great job with us, because it's that tradition being carried through now. So my Thanksgiving holiday was absolutely amazing. My daughter, she's in Southern California. She couldn't make the trip this time. But, when we're all in one space together, the love is so real and so natural. It just fills my cup. So it was great.
And I saw a ton of food too.
Oh yeah, the food was great. My sister-in-law, she's Filipina, and so there's a combination of Filipino food and then American food and smoked turkey. If you've never had smoked turkey, you need to get some smoked turkey.
I was looking at the food and I was like, man, and it was just a couple days after Thanksgiving, so I was getting hungry. And then Tony G, I mean, gosh, you had a fun break, right?
So I had probably the funnest Thanksgiving I've ever had in my adult life.
Wow.
I mean, it was crazy. I did so much, right? So my brother comes into town, right, from Hollywood, because he's a big shot. And, now we've got my brother John, who's got a huge family, and I got my nieces and nephews coming in. And then my brother's boyfriend Ryan brought his parents, right? So now they're there. Now I got my grandma coming, my other aunts coming. So we had about 30, approaching 40 people.
Oh my goodness.
In the house.
You had a house full.
We had 6 dogs.
Oh, wow.
My little pug, Dolly. We brought, my sister brings Louie, right? And then we have Cash, who's my brother Michael's dog. And then we had my cousin Sophie, again, from LA, big shot, right? And so she came down with her baby, and she's got little itty bitty little Totos, what do they call them? The terriers, the Yorkies, right? Is that am I saying that correctly?
I think so.
Okay.
And so, and then 2 other dogs with Ryan's parents. So I'm like, this is insane. I've got like all this food, and these dogs are just running around, and everyone's just like laughing. I thought it was going to be stressful. It honestly was great. Mm-hmm. And we didn't stop there, though. We went out. As I said, went to Frank Fat's like a couple days later. Okay. Sacramento. If you haven't been out there, oh, you got to go. It's the best Chinese.
And who did you run into? Is this the trip where you ran into somebody?
Okay, so it didn't happen this time, but you're referring to meeting the governor, Jerry Brown.
In the restroom.
Okay.
So
well, it was a good conversation, though, right?
I mean, we were talking about the chow mein.
In the restroom?
Yeah, it was a weird thing. He's like, I like the chow mein. You know, I don't know. That's how his voice in my head. I remember Jerry Brown, old Moonbeam. Love that guy. But it was awesome. You know, the food, and you know, you don't get out with family, and I think that's what it comes back to. What's it all about? It was about family,
right?
You know, and so I just said, you know what, I'm not gonna. I just cleared my schedule. My comedy. I shut down my comedy for just about a week, and I said, "No, you know what? My brother's in town. We're gonna have a good time." You know,
that's awesome. And you have huge news. I mean, I don't know if you want to share. Well,
no, I'll share a little bit. My wife and I moved.
Okay.
We moved from Benicia, California, to Grass Valley, California. So we've got a pretty nice little spread. It's kind of a big house. We're moving. We're having my father-in-law join us. And over the holidays, over Thanksgiving, my sister and brother-in-law came up for a few days. And so we had boxes all over the house. And we just kind of said, well, if you see something and you think it goes somewhere, put it there. It's fine. Just put it away. But we did have our Thanksgiving. Everything worked out wonderfully. We did have our first Cornish Christmas. We went into Grass Valley, and they celebrate Cornish Christmas. So it's every Friday in Grass Valley. It's a beautiful little town, and they have events in Nevada City as well. And it was just a celebratory evening stroll, and with us and like 40,000 people. So it was a lot of people.
40,000.
But it was great. It was just good fun. And again, visiting, they stayed for a few days. My sons were in town, 2 of the younger sons, and so they were helping us move the heavy furniture. Yay, sons. And it was just a pleasant week.
Yeah.
And it's those connections,
right?
Those being together, those laughing moments, the drink a little wine moments, just silliness of relaxing with family, and really kind of like that's what this is right now with you guys. It's like another new family. So
absolutely.
Thank you for being here.
Did you get everything done? The house ready?
No. We'll be unpacking stuff for the next month, I'm sure, too.
It's not easy moving.
It's not easy.
A lot of work.
So much stuff.
I did see you on, I think it was on either Instagram or something. You were taking a sledgehammer to something.
Oh, well, that was getting rid of some furniture I did not want to move. So, yes, that was being a little silly. I do know how to use a sledgehammer better than that. But it was for the comedic effect, as Tony would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you look good doing it.
You look good doing it. He was full of rage inside.
I missed this
if
video.
you have old furniture, you take your sledgehammer to it. You don't need to go to a rage room. Just get it out.
There we go.
Do we have this video? Can we get it up? I'm just playing.
Getting the emotions out.
Decompression.
It's a good thing.
I'm all about decompression.
Hey, I learned something new. I'm like, I want to do that.
Well, and I wanted to ask you too. When you went to that town, did they do a Christmas tree lighting that day?
I didn't see one, but there was carolers and songs and artists all over the place. It was quite the experience.
Oh, that is awesome.
I might have missed it, but
wow, beautiful area, and congratulations.
Thank you.
That's exciting for you and your wife, and of course your family as well.
Yeah, everybody's thrilled. The dogs are thrilled. They have a backyard to run around.
Oh, well,
and
that's just right there.
Oh my
right
gosh,
there.
it's just beautiful.
Probably have a whole mountain to run around.
They kind of do.
See, I can't even let Dolly out in the backyard because the gate's she's too tiny.
He's like lording over the entire area.
And by the way, I think we're saying, guys, right now, New Year's over at Dr. Rob's.
Hey, I'm ready.
I'm going to be in Ecuador. So, but the dog sitter will be there, I think. So.
I have a passport.
Tony G dog sitting.
Yeah, you got
going with
Dr.
Robert.
Well, yeah, I wanted to mention too. So I didn't have a smoked turkey. That looked super good. We did barbecue a turkey. My dad does that. Okay. That's one of our traditions. We have a barbecue turkey.
I've never had a barbecue turkey.
Oh, it's incredible. You guys have to try it. My dad, he finally was like, okay, son, this is how it goes.
Yeah, walk you through the steps.
Yeah, he says it's like self-basting. You're going to do extra tinfoil, and it's going to steam. And it was incredible.
How tender was it?
Oh, it was perfect. It was perfect. And then my turkey, by the way, I don't know if you guys do this. It's like cheating, but I do this anyway.
Did you spatchcock it?
I do the bag, the turkey bag. You guys ever do that?
Okay.
Or it's called an oven bag.
Okay, right, I have those.
Yeah. And it's self-basting.
It's not cheating.
It feels like cheating a little bit, but I mean, I don't think it's cheating.
You pay for that.
Yeah. But
if you bought the bag, it's not cheating.
No, I bought the bag.
But it's incredible. I mean, honestly, I took the turkey, went to go carve it, and it was just falling apart. It was falling off the bone.
Tender, right? How the new thing on Instagram, tender, right?
Yeah.
When it just falls off the bone.
Yeah. And I should have posted pictures. I was really bad. I wanted to just enjoy the time with the family.
Right.
I didn't do a whole lot of posting, but so I apologize for that.
It's okay. You were staying in the moment.
That means the food was that much better.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You staying
Locked
in the
you
moment.
in.
He didn't want to share.
Oh,
it was incredible. And then, of course, I don't know if I shared this with our viewers yet. We shared it with some people, but we do have a new puppy, so we were busy with him. Yeah, he's been keeping us up late, and we're going to get one more puppy later, but that was a fun part of the Thanksgiving holiday, too. So.
And we're going to bring our puppies to Dr. Rob.
Oh,
totally. And you won't mind at all. They just throw them on your brand new carpets. I'm kidding, of course.
Well, I mean, we've had fun, and, we've all had a great holiday break, it sounds like. And we're going to jump into the headlines. There's some interesting stuff that's been going on. And again, we're live in Studio 24. The bell's about to ring, so let's get started.
Right.
All right, so our first headline tonight, for our education news segment, it takes us into one of the biggest questions in America right now. I mean, we're just seeing this all over. A lot of national news headlines are discussing this. There was a poll that was done by NBC, and it's a brand new NBC poll conducted and released just days ago, and it showed that 63% of Americans now say a four-year college degree is not worth the cost. Only 33% say it's worth it. And again, that is a major shift. Going all the way back to 2017, the country back then was basically split. So we're seeing some shift there. And so now it's like, America's collectively said, college is great, but until the first loan payment hits, maybe not so great. And so the reasons people gave were, graduation, coming out of college with, lacking job-ready skills.
Right.
Another one is debt that looks more like a mortgage.
Right.
And also the icing on the cake, college grads working the same job they had in high school.
Right.
That'll maybe do it for you. And so one of the pollsters said the shift is remarkable because even people with degrees don't think their degrees are worth the price anymore. So we're going to go ahead and dive into that. Let's go ahead and we'll see again. The big question is: has a four-year degree lost its value? And so we'll start over here with Dr. Rogers. Why do you think the public's confidence in a four-year degree has gone down? What's going on here? Is it economics? Why is it dropped so sharply?
Well, I think life is shifting.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at college degrees and we look at historically the way the job market was, we didn't look at automation. We didn't look at AI. We didn't look at technology. You look at a lot of hands-on businesses that require people to actually have a skill that may not require a college degree. And so one of the things you mentioned was about when you graduate. So think about this for a second. You're 22, 24, 23 years old when you graduate, and you're leaving college, and you're lifing an apartment, trying to get a house or whatever. And if you've moved out of your parents' home, you're just trying to make it. And so all of a sudden, you graduate, and who's knocking at your door? It used to be Sally Mae. Now it's now whoever it is, right? And so it's a lot to take on as a young person because you're getting entry level pay and you're getting major expenses from the very start. Now, in my book, Change the Narrative, Don't Let the Narrative Change You, I talk about how my brothers and I, we have a interesting story. I am the only one who went to college, and having a doctorate degree, I have doctorate degree bills. And so with those expenses that I have to pay that back, whereas my brothers, they do not have a college degree, but they make way more money than me. Interesting story. So my younger brother, who works for Bayer now, Bayer, the aspirin tech pharmaceuticals, he started as a custodian.
Wow.
And because he was so hungry and his desire was so strong, he followed around the chemist and watched the chemist all day, all week, and studied the craft. So it was like an internship for him. So now he's a chemist because he took an aptitude test to be qualified to get into cell gene therapy and slicing and splicing and doing all of that. And so he chose a path that, because of his work ethic, was able to enter into a market where it wasn't just degree, it was also experience. And could you pass an aptitude test to show and demonstrate that you can do the work? So now he makes almost twice as much as I do without school loan. And my other brother, he was in the military for 24 years. Then he retired from there and went into the Department of Corrections for another 20 years. And so now he has 2 retirement checks and getting some other his side money from his side businesses and doing very well. So that's a perfect example of you don't have to go to college to be successful. I went to college because that was the only avenue I had. And so for some students, that's a choice for them, yes, but it's not the only choice. And we have to be able to find the passions where students can be successful and they can gain that knowledge. CTE pathways, STEM pathways, you see all of those opportunities. Like, for example, we learned a gentleman, he told a story about how a young lady, she asked, hey, can you come over here and check my pipes? I hear a banging on my pipes. Can you come over here and check it? He said, sure, I'll come over there. So he brings his toolbox over there. He's hearing the banging, and he pulls out a hammer, and he checks the pipe. He knocks on the pipe. The sound goes away. The water flow is going great. He says, wow, thank you so much. I appreciate it. He leaves. He sends her the bill. The bill comes back. The bill is $200. And she calls him up. Why are you charging me $200 and you was only here for 5 minutes? He says, because that's how much it costs. He says, can you send me an itemized bill? He says, sure. So sends over the bill. It says hammer, $5, knowing whether it hit the spot, $195. Again, knowing what to do is where a lot of students will gain success because they have that understanding and that skill. And you can't price, somebody's talent. And so I feel like the college degree is losing its steam, if you will, because there are a lot of jobs that are phasing away, so they have another opportunity to get something else. And
for our viewers out there who maybe are unaware of, you mentioned CTE and STEM. Can you just share real quick what those are?
CTE, again, career technical education. So you're looking at jobs that focus around like beauty, automotive, electronics, florists, a lot of those jobs that are, again, hands-on types of responsibility. And so we're looking at STEM, it's more of the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So they specialize in different types of educational pathways so they can earn something that's of their interest.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love the story there about the plumber. That wasn't you, was it?
That wasn't me, because my skills as far as plumbing is horrible. Never call me for plumbing.
By the way, we did have a plumbing incident on Thanksgiving. My dad fixed it. He's 76 years old.
But he's talented.
He's 76. He got up under the sink, and he was working. He couldn't see what he was doing, but he figured it out, and it was like, this is the worst timing. But, we made it through.
Did he send you a bill?
He did. You know what? He could have. But
there we go.
Yeah. The key thing was, you know, I cooked a really good turkey. He cooked, so it was like we're even, you know, in that regard. So, you know, one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to Tony G, but we'll come back in a second, unless you're ready to go.
Last two, I had to get those out. All right, here we go.
So I wanted to ask you, you know, does this shift, do you think it reflects the job market? I mean, or does it reflect the fact that college, it sometimes teaches you everything except maybe how to get a job? Like, what do we think?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I would say if you have a target and you know what you want to do, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, an attorney, I want to be something that needs that pedigree, right? It makes sense. I would say young people, though, don't have, you know, an understanding. I mean, let's face it, the human brain's still developing until when you're 28,
25,
25,
prefrontal cortex,
something
yeah,
like that, right? And you have to develop, right? And college kind of serves as an in-between, you know, yes, it's real world, but it's still with a caveat. You're still that, you know, your mom and dad's kid or whatever, right? And there's just, not for all, but there's a lot of safety valves. So I feel that you get development when you have to go into college campuses. You have to talk to different instructors, some that are kind of like, who is this guy, right? All that kind of stuff's so important that you're doing that because it's interaction skills. So I would say you don't want to lose that opportunity if you don't have something better. But again, you don't need it. If you're like, hey, my kid, he's not even into all that, you know. In fact, he's going to work with his uncle in HVAC.
yeah.
You know, and I have students like that in the past. I thought, well, heck, do it. You can make money.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, we see that economically we've got other things going. We've got the gig economy, which is where we have all these side hustle sort of jobs, right? And, you know, you're doing Uber Eats or you're doing Lyft. And there's all these, and there's even apps where people go online and they do different tasks now.
Right.
It's interesting how things have shifted. And, of course, there's AI and all of that as well. But, you know, Dr. Martinez, you know, I wanted to also ask you, too, you know, part of the poll showed that colleges are losing maybe public trust. You know, why do you think that is?
Well, I think there's a lot of different things, as both gentlemen have talked about here. For a lot of our students, we forget that when they're babies and they're going through developmental milestones, the book doesn't say on day 12, they're going to do this. On day 13, they're going to do this.
Right.
It's in the first month, they might.
Right.
In the second, third, fourth month, they might.
Right.
And we forget that. We kind of think, okay, well, you've graduated high school, so now you have to do this.
Right.
Developmentally, everybody's different. And so when we think about trying to make everybody make a decision at 16, 17, 18, as Tony's saying, it's very hard because our children are very different. They're becoming adults, and yet they're sometimes not ready. I've seen so many students go straight to college, and they fail. They weren't ready. The advent of our early college programs now is, on one hand, amazing that we see some students at graduating high school at 18 with their high school diploma and 1 associate's degree, 2 associate's degree, 3 associate's degree, because they've now had more experience in that early college, seeing different parts of the college world, and now they can decide with more information, maybe I am more interested in theater arts or, you know, other kinds of arts or music. They have more repertoire to choose from. So when people are making a more informed decision about college, I think they tend to find success. And I'll just give you an example. My son, my youngest son, again, kind of was one of those first COVID college kids, right? Went off to college.
A tough time
and then
to
got
go to
sent
college.
home.
Yeah.
So now at 24, he's still finishing his bachelor's degree. But at 24, taking those bachelor's degree classes, he seems like he's in an internship program where he's just thriving in this last year of college at 24. And I'm like, why did we send you so early?
Right.
Maybe it was to mature a little bit, find some more interest, and actually appreciate the classes. So I think when students are going because they feel they have to, and they're going through a checklist and they're marking things off, and parents are like, you've got to go, we're sometimes making a rushed choice rather than letting life lead us a little bit better.
Right.
So that gets back to our high schools giving more opportunities, not tracking students, but opening up a wide breadth of opportunities so they can see, try this, try that, learn this, but then also pay attention to the world.
Right.
Because as we see as adults, and me as an older adult, the world's changing dramatically fast. And using AI now to just advance our own thinking process, using technology that's going to automate so many different things for us in the world. We have to be prepared for that. So the more we can prepare our kids, you go back to the trust. We have to have our parents trust that our schools, our public schools, are doing a really good job of getting kids ready to make informed choices, not just leading them down a path where there's not going to be opportunity. Our kids are making informed choices, and now with some more maturity or awareness, I think they're going to find, wow, that associate arts degree was really what I needed. That bachelor's degree, this master's degree, I need this doctorate because I want to advance myself. But people, when they bring themselves to their education, they're going to do better. If it's just, I'm going because you said I should, they're not going to find success.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Rob said a few things that I just want to just take real quick. You know, you said something about looking at students not being mature enough and ready to be out there in the world. And I love that, right? Because it's true. You know, you're looking at culturally, and then you're looking at equity-wise. How many students have an opportunity to get exposed to college or even have discussions about college before they get there? And so you're asking for the same student to go into a college system that maybe they've never even had conversations over dinner at home and expect them to be successful. You know, it's not for everyone to go at that same pace. You know, and it reminds me about why HBCUs are so important, for example, because when you go to an HBCU, historically black college and university, students don't go there just for the educational requirements, but they go for life experiences also. Professors there take a hands-on opportunity to go into the students' lives, to get involved in their lives, to help them mature and become young adults. You know, they become extended parents in addition to professors. And that's the difference between going to one of those schools versus going to traditional, you know, PWIs. And it's so missed in our educational system about being able to have those wraparound services to help our young people mature.
You reminded me of something just from my own experience I'll share shortly, in that I went to a junior college right out of high school because I didn't know what I was going to do. And I had to work like full-time for one job and another job half-time. And then I went to junior college full-time. And so I just like went through the junior college, went through all the classes, passed all the classes, got really good grades, and I got to transfer to UC Davis. Go up to UC Davis and took my first test and almost failed the test because I did not ever know how to study or how to learn or what to do at this big old college. And it was like, okay, I need to find some other help and some other resources to relearn that now I'm at a actual university, and what do you need to do here? But that's a prime example of that.
And
go ahead. Well, I was going to say, I think that's why it's so important when you're talking about kids with IEPs, and that's a huge population now, and kids, you know, need to be assessed, and teachers, case managers, everyone has to be on the same page when they're working with the parents, because they're the ones too that are flying the ship, you know? And so it's a tough, you know, slippery slope, because you don't want to be like, well, your kid shouldn't go to college, you know, or something like that. But you see the deficiencies, back to what you're saying, learning how to study and just different things. But, you know, if you're talking about now special education, it's a huge range. It's a huge deviation from a kid who's in one part, you know, program in another program, yet they're still on the same campus, and they're eventually going to get to a point where, will they get the diploma, right? Well, again, what are we putting in their heads? Again, I like where this conversation's going, but this speaks now to special education, and how is as a whole in California, how are we handling that?
Yeah, great points from everybody. I mean, I love what you discussed about the wraparound services. I mean, if we could find ways to include more wraparound services, because our friends in higher ed too, one of the big things that I'm always hearing about is we think that, and we think that the dropout rate is high, right? Look at the dropout rate at the community college and the university level. It is huge.
So they're not ready. And when I went to, and again, I was 27 years old going to college for the first time, because in the military, I figured I was going to be a military person forever, and I didn't think about college. But then when I became a parent and I went back to school, I'm sitting in class with a 16-year-old student, because she was dual enrolled. She was in high school and going to college. And I struggled as a 27-year-old person being in a 2-year college. But also remembering how people were going to school to get that extra little money, and then once they got the money, then they just leave, because they realize that college is hard. So especially when you're taking those general classes, the classes that you really don't like, So I really feel like we should take a different look at how it is now, because it's not like historically college life used to be.
Yeah.
So I think, just having those extra services would be helpful.
And we talk oftentimes about our high schools needing to change, right? And the CTE, college career tech ed, and just different access to different things. But some of our colleges are still structured in a different way. Right. And are they advancing? And I don't know. I don't know if they're advancing in the same educational process of professional development, connecting with students, engaging with students, or they're just kind of like, I'm the professor, do what I say.
Right.
Because if they're still like that, they're going to lose a lot more students.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do the test or write the essay, right? I think this also kind of reminds me that, maybe we need to do more. I mean, I know that we are doing an okay job with CTE, right, at the high school level, but perhaps we need to maybe try to find more ways to invest in CTE. And you're a former superintendent. Did you get to do anything like that?
Yeah, well, in both the Antioch Unified School District and Fairfield-Sassoon Unified School District, the CTE programs were burgeoning. I mean, really just expansive in the way of opportunities for students with different pathways into the colleges. And so, again, working with Cal State East Bay, there's a lot of connections there as well. San Francisco State as well. So but somebody has to do that work to make sure it aligns so that students can see there's a pathway. So if I get to college or a different apprentice program, this is what I can learn. I mean, the different apprentice programs, again, in Antioch are expanding in the carpenters unions and just the different programs that we have, automotive engineering. I mean, there's a program at Solano Community College that is an entire structure built towards automotive engineering. And again, it's not just your old 57 Chevys. Right. It's now getting you jobs directly connected to Boeing, to, I think it's even Tesla. I mean, it's just different things.
They were at my school a few years ago, and I was like, this is awesome, because I got some of my students and helped them fill out the applications. And as long as you kept a certain grade point average,
that's right,
you got your diploma or whatever the requirements were, right, you get right in. And like, oh, that's amazing. Like for kids that don't feel confident or just don't want to go to college, do that. And I'll tell you a true story. I got a buddy used to go by the name of Critter. All right. We played football together. He was a lineman, and his name's Chris, and he's actually an HVAC owner operator. Right. And we ran into each other 2 years ago. We're talking paychecks, and I'm not going to say how much he made, but it made me look like just sad.
Right. Because again, you can charge something different.
And without the college debt.
I knew Chris. I said, Chris, you were terrible in math. You were terrible in this. How did you do it? It's just, he picked that right path.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he didn't go to college. He went and did HVAC.
Well, sometimes also, and we see math everywhere. Students are struggling with math, it seems. But we see when, it's applied math, when you're applying it to a skill, right? It's more tangible and real world. And I think that's another way too. That's a whole other conversation about how we can improve math. But we got to get ready to move on. This show goes so quick. And just a few things I wanted to mention to kind of close out this segment. college, you know, it opens doors, absolutely. We've discussed that. And there's some really important points, too, about CTE and wraparound services that we discussed, too. But for many, you know, the math is just not working anymore. Right. And, you know, if the degree costs more than the career leads to, you know, and it leads to debt with a diploma attached to it, then, you know, maybe there is going to be a struggle with trying to realize that might be not the best opportunity. So that could be reflective of the poll. And so the truth is we're living in a world with more pathways than ever. And so there are other opportunities too, community college, trade, certificates, we discussed those, apprenticeships, and yes, there's college too. That isn't the only opportunity. And so is college good or bad? You know, to me, it's not really that's not really the question. Is it the best option for you? Right. That's what you got to consider. And so it's really kind of becoming more of a personal question and not necessarily prescribed for all students. Maybe.
Absolutely.
So our feature segment, this is a fun one. You know, we've got the studio decorated for the holidays, and we see the holidays are always fun. And of course, we're dressed up. We got our jingle bells, and
I have my lights on. I have my lights on.
You know, the thing is, when it comes to culture, this is one of those things that every district tries to get right. And you can even have culture not just as a school site, as a district, though, as a classroom. There's classroom culture. And December, it's one of those unique opportunities for schools and districts, for educational agencies, ELAs, to come together to actually try to see school culture on display.
Right.
And across the country, it's a season where there's winter concerts, there's plays happening, there's staff potlucks, you have the toy drives, you got door decorating competitions. There's a lot of great stuff. Secret Santas.
Right.
I don't know if you guys have ever participated in those.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
The gift exchanges. And there's also, depending on the school, sometimes there's a little bit more chaos than others. Like, you know, it could be like a kindergarten line on a rainy day.
Right.
And so some fun traditions. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about those and kind of dig in, you know, what holiday traditions actually build culture, and which ones need to maybe retire, like some of those old Christmas ornaments we have. So I wanted to start off with Tony G. You've lived that December teacher life. You know, what's your favorite holiday tradition? Anything that we should share or borrow? Any fun ones that?
Tamales, man. Tamales, 100%. That's what's, you know, bring them to the kids in the classroom, you know, get them for the family. I mean, it's just I don't know what it is about tamales in this weather.
They're beautiful.
They're just incredible, right?
Yeah.
By the way, I had a bunch of those. Maybe that's, I'm still thinking about Thanksgiving. But that kind of gesture goes a long way in the classroom. I think it's important to do that kind of stuff. So
maybe tamales next week for the studio snack after the show. Maybe.
You know, interesting story about tamales. You know,
right.
I'm not from California, I'm from Brooklyn, right? And so I didn't grow up with a lot of Mexican people. I grew up with Puerto Ricans. Different culture, right? So we're talking about culture. So the first time I get out here and my coworkers say, "Hey, you know, would you like a tamale?" And I'm like, I don't know. What is it? They were like, "Oh, you're going to love it. You know, what kind you want? You want a cheese? You want chicken? You want pork?" I'm like, you know, let me get a chicken one, right? So I go and I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, okay, it smells good, right? And so I go to eat it and I'm like, this is horrible.
No.
I said, I don't like it. How can you eat this? And they were like, dude, you have to take the husk off.
Oh, no.
I didn't know you had to take the husk off. Oh. You know, so when I took the husk off.
I mean, that's a common mistake to non-Mexican people.
Is that a common East Coast mistake, you think?
I think it's just to anyone who's not a Mexican family.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the texture, you're like, oh, this is not, I'll bite it right into it, right? As a kid.
Like, why would they tell me, right? Why would they tell me to peel it first?
Yeah.
You know, take the husk off. And
Maybe next time you got to preface it with, "I'm from New York. Anything I need to know here."
You know, but it was very good though. That was my first time having it.
Wow, we're on this conversation of tamales. Stockton, California has some of the best tamales. Go to El Dorado Market.
Oh,
Okay, they're amazing. La Victoria as well.
Okay.
And they again, I mean, there's a bunch of them, but those are the top two that I really like. Right. Get out there, look at the culture.
He's giving me a hint to go get some.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give
for
you
next week.
like, that's where
Yeah.
to go. If you want to really make my Christmas. But anyways, I love it because that's Stockton, and although they had tragedy, and it's just terrible, but there's a lot of beauty there, and the culture, the Hispanic culture, the Black community. I love the vibes when I go down to places to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And you do quite a few shows in Stockton too.
Yeah. It's it's a community that's come from a lot of adversity, and so learning how to deal with that, it takes it kind of like where I kind of have the cheat sheet from my line of work, working in mental health, emotionally disturbed program, and because again, that's part of the whole enchilada.
Right.
That's what's going on.
Enchiladas
within
too.
right.
Oh, and there's a place. We're not saying where our studio is, but there's a place I got to share with you guys later on, close
all
by.
right.
And oh my gosh, the best enchiladas, guys.
So I know what we have in there.
Yeah,
Tamales
Yeah.
enchiladas.
yeah.
I'll leave you my address. You could send some up to the
There
hill.
we go. Dr. Rogers, any fun traditions? Anything that other places around the world? We've got 1.5 million viewers from around the world that have watched the show.
No, right?
Where what should we share with others? Any fun traditions?
Well, I'm learning to really embrace traditions and being able to celebrate, because I didn't really celebrate a lot growing up. We just loved on each other all year long, and so we didn't really go big for holidays. But as I travel the world and I see so many different people, celebrate and they come together, I don't get caught up in the commercialism of it oftentimes. I look at it as an opportunity to connect, to be able to
That's the key.
confirm those relationships, build on those, reflect, laugh, enjoy, and love, because that's something that you can't replace, And so for me, it's taking those opportunities to hug on someone a little bit longer, to look someone in their eyes, and to be able to hold someone and tell them how much they mean to you. And those moments are the things that fill my cup, So the whole, and it's not one of my love languages. It's gift giving. It's not that, So it's more of the actual spending time is the thing for me. But I enjoy watching everybody else do it. I enjoy that piece of it. But for me, mine is just the collective heart that we all have when we do that.
And being together, being present.
Absolutely. I think a lot of our students need that also. When you have kids in the classroom who really need to have that extra support, especially when they watch on TV and they see how life is for other people, it's good to connect with them.
Yeah. Well said. Dr. Martinez, any fun? Maybe district-wide, too. You got something good for us?
I've had a lot of fun at a lot of schools, and a lot of it comes back down to song. And I think about this growing up as a little kid, right? My relatives would get together, holidays, Wednesday. I mean, and they'd pull out guitars and they'd start singing and they'd just be together, family singing together. Yes. So one of the schools that I was a psychologist and later became principal at, it's still in its 36th year of the holiday sing-along. And every kid gets stuffed into the multi-purpose room, words on the wall, we're all singing together, and it would always bring me back to those memories of experiencing something together. Mm-hmm. And the songs would change from years to year. We'd add new songs or songs, that people liked and different things. But the one moment that I think still happens, I'm going to have to check it out, is that every staff member, from the custodian to the principal to the teachers, everybody's on the stage and Jingle Bell Rock, and everybody's doing the leg kicks, jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell. And the place goes crazy. I mean, we'd have parents coming in just because this is just one of those things. And it's always one of those, we want to appreciate every culture and everybody's, individual rights. But when you build something that everybody can at least appreciate a little bit of, and they want to be part of it, that's when you've got a school that's clicking. Absolutely. They're going to get together for that. they're going to get together on Tuesday at the staff meeting with the same energy. Right. They're going to get together for the math training that everybody needs, or the emotional health training. You bring that same energy.
Oh, yeah.
And those little connectedness pieces really add to the entire school.
Absolutely.
So I think of that fun stuff.
We've got a couple minutes, or about a minute or so, before we got to move on to final word. But, schools, they're complex places. There's a lot of pressure, but these opportunities to connect and to build culture and community are so important. I'll just share one real quick.
Absolutely.
Last year, I got to be a part of a parade that was done that a school put on, a high school. And it was wonderful because the community came out, and there was the children. They were so happy. And you had different organizations that showed up. There was a lowrider club that showed up, and they had a ton of cars. And you had the Marines showed up, and there was a Santa Claus. And it was just so much fun. And again, seeing the children and the smiles on their faces, and the community members that maybe didn't even expect that this parade was happening, and to see them come outside and wave, and to bring that positive experience to the community was just amazing.
Right.
So a lot of great ones out there. There's the potlucks. There's the, connecting with students.
I don't do potlucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Culturally, I do not do potlucks.
Well, because sometimes, the food might sit out, until you eat at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I'm a neat freak. I don't like that. Couldn't even have touching it.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of ways to connect. Toy drives. There's so many things, but December, it does remind us that really it's about connection.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of ways to build culture and community within our schools, and to improve that climate. It's the laughter in the staff room during the sweater day. Mm-hmm. It's the kindergarten hallway decorated like a winter carnival. It's the potlucks and all those different things. But we do got to move on to final word. And in our final word segment, we give our senior education contributors and our guests an opportunity to share a final message. And so we're going to start. Who wants to start us off? Anybody?
I'll start off real quick. So we're speaking about all of these things, and it reminded me of something we did when I worked in group homes many, many moons ago. And we had a big Christmas tree, and we gave every staff member the ornaments, right? And so everyone had different color ornaments. And so we would have a director or someone come up and tell a story about some of the students or some of the young people that we had in the homes that we had. And every time they felt moved, they would take an ornament and go put it on the tree. Mm. And so by the time the story was over, the tree was now decorated with all of these different ornaments. And that was symbolism of the collective works by all of us being able to pour into once that bare, naked tree, now making it full again. And so my word is that each one of us, it takes each one of us to add to the cup and to add to the body of each of the students that we have. And all of our work, all of our collective work is essential in building our students, our communities, and our families up. So please, 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 just take a moment to give into a young person's life, a family's life, because a smile, a hug, or just a good word can go a long way. So that's my word.
And even outside the school, too, we could do those things.
And just humanity in general. When you see someone in the store, just open the door for the person. Again, pass that good energy along.
That's awesome. Well said. Thank you, Dr. Rogers. And I'm thinking we will go. Are you ready?
Yes. My final word is bring cough drops with you at all times when you're coming out of a little something, right? By the way, guys, I'm past the days of contagion. All right, I chat GPT'd. Is it okay to be on the podcast? And you know what they said? They said it's good. So you don't have to worry. You're not going to get sick.
Okay.
I was going to say, you look pretty good for being sick.
I feel great.
Yeah.
Other than this raspy voice and this cough. But
I thought maybe it was going to be the all the Zumba.
Well, no, that's the thing. The Zumba is, I think, what's carrying me over. It's giving me the strong lungs.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, but that's my final word for the season is take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. To eat as healthy as you can. Obviously, you're going to have your goodies. It's holidays. But go for walks with the wife, the kids. Get out there, snow day. Do activities. Don't close in, and then everyone just gets sick and that's not fun.
And we
get sick. get sick out there.
We try to practice what we preach on the show, so we try to build culture too.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We did a dinner recently.
Yes.
Maybe we maybe we might have a snow day though. Wouldn't that be fun?
I would love it.
Yeah. Go snow to it.
Yeah. I'm from New York, man. I don't want snow again.
Yeah, you're a real humble player, man.
I am. I'm the Scrooge of the bunch.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
All right, Dr. Rob, take us home.
Well, again, tonight we've talked about loss, right? We've talked about connection. We've talked about caring. We've talked about culture. And this is the world premiere of the cover of the second edition of The Story of Sparkle and Shine.
Nice.
Don't forget, nobody has seen this yet.
World premiere on this
World
show.
premiere
On this show. 1.5
So
million views.
hopefully the book will be available on Amazon the
Pixar,
next week
get
or
ready.
two. And but remember, sparkle, spread positive acts regarding kind, loving encounters, leads to shine, significantly help increase niceness everywhere.
Yes.
So this message is about connection and bringing your light, Tony, that we talked about. Spread
That
it.
should be under
Spread it.
every
Okay.
stocking stuffer.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean,
So
come
we'll
on. You
get
want your
the
kids.
information out there once it
Do
hits
that.
Amazon. Follow me on social media. You can find it.
Yes. Congratulations.
Some gifting will occur.
So exciting.
Beautiful.
Yeah, congratulations. That's awesome. And great debut. Yeah. Beautiful cover, by the way.
Thank you.
I know. I love it.
Yeah. And so tell us real quick about these books. You got Recipes for Resilience.
A little bit of a personal memoir and lessons from my life about 8 tenets of ingredients that you can use to build your resilience and the resilience of others. And the story of Sparkle and Shine is a lovely story about an elf who does the things differently to help bring about shine. And it's just such a positive book of positivity that I think every adult, every kid, every grandparent would love.
Oh,
Congratulations.
thank you for sharing that. And thank you, of course, to our senior education contributors as well.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
And of course, Dr. Rogers, your book right there. We also have available on.
Absolutely.
Where's it at?
Amazon or Barnes & Noble. But go to Zulon Press because they don't take 40%. Zulon Press and get your copy. Again, it's a toolkit for educators, for parents, for students, to help parents and everyone else have an opportunity to help students see the true value of themselves.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. And what a show tonight. We dug into some important conversations, not just about that NBC poll, but also about how to build community and culture around the holidays. This is an incredible opportunity that we always have in December to certainly do that. We want to, of course, thank our panel and thank our team in the back for all their hard work.
Go
Yes.
team!
And we appreciate the studio. Look at how incredible this is.
I know, look at this.
Easy.
Yeah.
So festive.
You went all out.
They work super hard, and it's a surprise, to see how amazing it turns out. And so we thank them. And the one sad thing is we got this show, we got one more, and
And we're gone again for break.
we're gone again for break. And I told him, I said, maybe we can get away with keeping it up all year round, like those neighbors that have their lights on the house all
Right.
year, because it is that beautiful here.
It is.
Yeah. So
If you're ever in the neighborhood, come by and see us.
well, anyway, again, thank you guys so much. I mean, what an incredible show, as always. And thank you to our viewers for watching the show.
Yes, thank you.
We appreciate everything. And this has been the Education Talk Show with Jeremy Brooks, a weekly recess. We'll see you next time. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And make sure to purchase these books.
Yes.
Great stocking stuffers. Bye, you guys. Have a
Take
good night.
care.